Welcome, everybody, to our Monday Live broadcast. My name is Melody McAllister, and I'm here with the wonderful and knowledgeable Rachelle Poth. We're so glad to be with you all today and hope that you had a restful weekend. But if you didn't, it's okay because we have some guests coming up that are going to help you to make it a restful week. Well, we're going to do our best. If you want to join us for the game at the end of our program, shoot me a direct message, or I drop the link in our Thrive and Edu community under this broadcast, and we'd love to have you about 6:20 Eastern. Rachelle and I are welcoming the creators and founders of the Jabu Mind app. And before we bring up these wonderful ladies, Rachelle, how are you and what's new?
Well, what's new? I don't know. It's a Monday and I had like the most Monday ever, which apparently most everybody else I talked to has had like, oh my gosh, this Monday has been something else. But no, it was a good weekend. Had time with family and friends, celebrating a little bit birthday. I got some bragging rights on like torn rotator, but somehow I managed to beat some people in basketball at it's not a Dave & Buster's, but a local place. Yeah. So I had a little bit of bragging rights there. So, but it was fun to go out and do something that was relaxing, not working, and focusing on self-care, which after today, I'm so glad we have them here with us because it has truly made a difference for me in this past year. And so I am looking forward to hearing more from them and getting other teachers on board with some self-care with our guests and with Jabu Mind. So anyway, that's my weekend. And there's a random wait this way balloon.
Hey, you are so fabulous that you should be celebrating. You know, this is your month. We'll just make it your birthday month. And okay. I respect somebody that can do basketball, whether it's a Dave or Buster's or whatever, like kudos to you. And you know, here, yesterday was pretty much like the last fall day that we have. Everything, it's now getting cold. It is sweater season for sure here. Can't get away from it. So I had a wonderful weekend. And I'm looking forward to today. I talked briefly with our guests coming up, and I just think it's a great message to share with educators, specifically like right now. I think that we could use any help when we're trying to make sure that our minds are clear and that we're ready to educate our students. And Rachelle, tell us a little bit about our guests. I'm gonna be fiddling with the screen. So
okay.
I'll bring them up.
I know. So I've known them for over a year now, and I remember like taking a walk. And Melody, this actually comes back to you, honestly, because you would always tell me that I needed to. You would say, like, live my life. Although I always joke you would say get a life, but live my life and make sure to take a break. And it's so hard for me to take a break. And I'd heard about all of these different apps and things, and I'm like, no, I just can't do it. And I came across a Jabu Mind app, and I put it on my phone and I started to use it. And it was the first time that I was actually intentional about taking those breaks throughout the day. And you know how I am with my phone. I get the notifications and it's like, it's time to start your day, or it's time to release your day. And it really did help me to focus on taking those moments for myself. So I am completely thankful that this app exists, and I wish more teachers, educators would get it, especially now with the start of the school year. So I've gotten to know all three of our guests over over the past year. I started with Carolyn and knowing Carolyn first, and then Jill and Dr. Karen. So I am just excited to have them here to hear all about how they got started with it, to share some ideas for our guests that join in to ask questions. And yeah, this is definitely needed, especially after like the first month back into school. Everybody I talked to is just feeling like a lot of frustration and stress and trying to find balance. So perfect timing to have our guests here today. So
yes, and so I'm going to ask Jill, and I am like, if I forgive me for making this, an error, but Jill, will you please tell us your background? Introduce yourself. Oh, there we go. See, I knew it was going to happen.
No, I just love how much fun you guys have. And I think that that's really hard sometimes when we have so much going on to find that joy. And I think one of the things that is so important to me is finding that joy in life, because life is just so fast. And I'm very impressed about making baskets at Dave & Buster's. I'm a high school basketball coach. So Rachelle, I think that's actually a smaller rim. So kudos for you to be able to make it. Anything about the rim size right there, but just saying, well done. And I came to Jabu Mind with an incredible passion to bring wellness to the caregivers, because teachers give so much. And as a participant in the social and emotional learning movement for I don't know, decades, I really saw that if we did not explain to the teachers about social emotional, how would they be able to address what was coming up with the students? Sure, we might notice and respond to a student who might be struggling with something that we know about, but how is it affecting us? And what's so important is that self-care is the deeper level of taking care of us, so we can respond instead of react to what might be coming up. And it brings that wealth of wisdom and knowledge that is from within, that we then can find the right moment, the right tools, and it might even be handing it over to another resource that is the right call for us. And so that is after a lot of really thinking and not wanting to run an app when we have so many things already. I realized after talking to hundreds of teachers that if it was accessible and it was in little bite-sized pieces, and the research showed that bite-sized pieces of these calming meditations or breathing exercises were proven to lower stress level, we decided to go with the app. And so I was joined with a nonprofit with an incredible app that has been used around, and put that into the app for teachers. So that is my background. In the pandemic hit, and we just took it to teachers everywhere. So that's where we are, and we're in I think 7 different countries right now, and are excited to be able to assist teachers in extremely, I would say Zoom fatigued world, but now back in some cases in the classroom, but that's still always being nimble, which is asking so much of teachers.
Yeah.
True.
That's
it. So true.
Nutshell.
That's it. Yes, thanks, Jill. And that's incredible. It's in 7 countries. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, and I thought I knew everything about that. That's awesome.
Well, yes, and okay, and the next person, the next wonderful creator is going to be Carolyn. Okay, oops, and okay, here we go. Carolyn.
Perfect. Yes. Look at that. Here I am. So yeah, as Jill said, one of our key thoughts as we were figuring out how we could support educators was, how do we get something to educators who are already so busy in a way that's manageable? How do you add one more thing? Since that came on the heels of adding the one more thing of social and emotional learning for children, which is fantastic, but it's one more thing. So that's why we created it in a way that gives a small warning, start your day, and a break time, and a release your day that are very short and that are hopefully bite-sized enough to fit into just a, okay, back out there. So that teachers can be present for their kids as well. But it's not just about the kids. It's to pull in my background, after being in mortgage lending, the business side of thing for several years, I went back and got a master's in clinical psychology and worked mainly in hospitals with chronic pain patients as a biofeedback therapist and counselor. And it's so fascinating to me how much the body affects the mind and the mind affects the body. And so I keep looking over at you guys because you're over on the side of my screen. I'm trying to look at you guys. But this is where the Jabu Mind app feeds in, because where we are here very much affects where we are here and where we are here. And that paying attention to that in small doses can really bring about a whole different perspective in your day, which is a different perspective in your week and in your month and so on. Not to get too grandiose, but where you put your mind can affect your life in the long run. So that's enough for me, I think, unless there's questions.
Yeah, I'll put Dr. Karen. Oh, wait, oops. Okay, here we go, Dr. Karen. Put you up here, and I'm just curious. Well, I do have questions, but I'll save them. I'm gonna save them. But Dr. Karen, tell us about your background.
So I am a physician, and my most recent work has been in addiction medicine. And working in this field, what I really learned is how much we are affected by stress and chronic stress and trauma. And not just the person who's dealing with addiction, but we all are. And my concern, so I've tried to learn as much as I could about stress and trauma. And my concern is how the adults who are so stressed affect the kids. And I was always really interested in creating something that could help to improve things for children who are affected by the stress of their caregivers. And one of the ways that I learned to do this was with meditation, and I became a certified iRest Yoga Nidra teacher, and was really grateful when the opportunity came along to contribute to Jabu Mind, because it really met my desire to help and support the adults who then help and support the kids. And basically the way I look at it is our nervous system is, all of our nervous systems are constantly responding to the nervous systems around us. So we are all affected by each other. And if the caregivers and the teachers are not able to feel comfortable with the stresses that are happening for them, they're not going to be able to support the kids. So we're all in this together, and we all need a way to take a break and to calm our nervous system. And that's what Jabu Mind does in a way that can work for the teachers because of those bite-sized practices.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. And so I'm going to put us back to normal. Go ahead, Rachelle. I just cut you off, and I know I did.
Oh, no. I was multitasking. I was sharing out in different places, but like, I love so much of the conversation already, just to hear the background and the experiences. And then just as a teacher, in the classroom, and but like what I'm feeling, like some days, of course, we go in, we're like, oh, I'm tired. Am I going to make it through this day? Or we have all of these things going on in our personal lives, professional lives. And it has been a lot since last March.
Absolutely.
And we've been trying to find our way to navigate through it. And but you're right, like with our students, I mean, they look to us to see our responses to different things, stressors, frustrations, everything. And I try to be, very authentic with them and honest, but also to be knowledgeable enough to know some strategies that I can share with them, either as a side conversation. Like if some students come to me and say, hey, you know what, like I'm a junior, I've got all of these things going on, I'm never going to get it done. I'm going to fail every class. Well, you know how it goes. We all do the same things. That we got the negative self-talk, and they even identify that. They're like, I know I'm doing the negative self-talk right now. I'm like, it's okay. I said, it's like, what do we do with it? And so I've been really trying to kind of implement some of those different practices into my classroom and taking some breaks. And that has come about just in my own, like building my knowledge base about social emotional learning. And then of course, using the app and practicing this in my own life, and then carrying over and being able to do that in my classroom. But on those days, if I didn't have like ideas and strategies in mind that would help me to kind of snap out of it, or to refocus, or to just take a minute aside and like put myself together, basically, I wouldn't be any good for them, And so it's hard sometimes to kind of push through that. And as teachers, like we have to, because they're looking, like even when we don't realize it, they're noticing, they notice everything. And so to do the best for them, we have to be our best for them. And so that comes by whatever it takes for us to focus on self-care and mindfulness. And I just said a lot. And so with that, I am going to stop talking. I feel like I'm on Clubhouse, and this is Rachelle, and I'm finished.
Well, I'm actually really impressed with the fact that you all have different backgrounds, but you complement each other so well, and you were able to create an app that is so helpful. And I know Rachelle talks about Jabu Mind all the time, so it's really amazing to sit here with y'all. And I'm just curious, can this also help people outside of the education field?
Absolutely. I would let Jill or Karen, well, I should let Karen speak to this as a certified iRest instructor. Karen, do you want to speak to this?
Well, yes. Although the practices were kind of customized specifically for teachers, they would work for anybody. They really do.
And we hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I even have some friends of mine who are not teachers who downloaded the app, and they just say, wow, I mean, this works. So it's helpful for anybody, really.
iRest is a scientifically proven technique based on yoga nidra. Or Nidra, I don't know, and it has been approved by the military general. What's the right word?
Army Surgeon General.
Army Surgeon General for a complementary technique to help with PTSD in the military. There's lots of research done on not only iRest, but we have also done 2 different research projects with 2 different universities, one at University of California, one in Louisiana, where we've given the app to teacher credentialing students, start them early, right? And both of those have shown significant improvement in stress and in teacher self-efficacy. And then we're in the midst of 2 more research projects. We've done 1 more, we're analyzing the data. We have another one going, and we're working with the University of California in applying for a grant for a small business innovation research grant with the NIH. So we take it seriously. We take that what we're using and what we're putting on our app works, and that it's been shown to work. And we're committed to keeping on showing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love how you guys make it bite-sized, so it's not just one more thing. And everything you're telling me, it's not fluff either. Like, sometimes we get these words, self-care is important, but we also can turn it into a buzzword that we just, flip around, and it doesn't necessarily help people. But you are creating and have created an app that is truly helping. What is some of the feedback that other educators have given you that has really just made you feel like what you're doing is incredible?
We have absolutely heard that, like, I've never really been into meditation, and I didn't think I could do another thing. And then a friend recommended this, and I tried, and I could do it because it was short. So I didn't really usually get to the break time. For example, some say I only got to break time, but I would get to the start my day, or I use the sleep. The sleep one is very popular. One day I'll actually get through the sleep meditation because I always fall asleep before the end of it. So those are, that's a mixture of all of the things that we hear. The theme is, I wasn't sure, I didn't want to fit one more thing in, or I wasn't sure that I could, but actually I tried it and I was able to, and it really helped with X, my break time, my sleep. Really love to use the longer one on the weekend. I'm telling more about it. Someone else want to jump in with things we've heard from teachers?
Oh, wait. Can you see?
Yes.
So I just had to interject. So I love that it asks me on the top, like, how are you feeling right now? And I always think, I'm like, do I want to answer honestly? Like, how am I feeling right now? Because I don't want it to judge if I'm like very low, like I'm feeling terrible, just to say. But then it has, if you can see, release your day, you see the different components of it. And so you can set your notifications, and, I do get the reminder, like, coming up, it's bedtime. And I'm like, I'm not ready for bed at this point, or break time, start your day. And it really does help. And, I was a person who, I know a lot of people that do a lot of different things. Like, they practice mindfulness, they do yoga, they have whatever it is. A lot of them use a lot of different apps, or they hide their phone, and that's their self-care. But for me, none of those things ever worked. And then I use this, and, I've been saying it for a year. Mel knows I talk about it all the time too, but it's like, it really does help. And so I'm hoping that more teachers who are looking for something, that have been like me, like, oh, well, yeah, I don't know. And it's not that you have to do all of the pieces. Maybe you just need like a way to start your day, or like force yourself to take that break and then just add to it. So I'm just going to hold it up again. Just not going to show how I'm feeling today. I didn't really actually. Oh no, I'm feeling like a 10 right now because I'm with all of you. But so okay.
And nobody can see what you put. You know that, Rachelle, right?
I didn't for sure, but now I do. So I'm good.
I meant maybe here. If you show it
doesn't judge.
Yeah, administrators, no one can see that you had a bad day, or you're having a good day, or that what your week was like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the app doesn't judge, so I'm sure that you've made that clear. But oh gosh, this was in my brain. Here, talk. Oh, I hate when that happens. Oh, okay, now I know, and I know why this happens. It's so weird that I just had a moment of forgetfulness. But I was thinking, just getting enough sleep is like a selling point. Like, that's one of the reasons I forget what I am going to say all the time is I know that I don't get enough sleep. And I'm thinking you sold me right there. Like, I just want to get to sleep on time and have like a really good restful, few hours at least. But I also want to say that I'm flashing. If you are watching, and these are the links that you can get from the Apple and Google Play. And I've also put the socials. What is the social, ladies, that people follow the most?
Instagram, I'd say.
Instagram.
Awesome. So I put these in the links, and I hope that everybody will follow. And we've had such a great conversation. Do you guys want to play a game, or do we want to keep talking? Because I'm thinking we could open this up for questions, or we can play a fun game. It's up to you. What would you like to do?
Oh, that's a really hard choice.
I know. I'll give them thinking time a second. I just want to tell Mel that there's also, so there's your mood and your sleep. And I will tell you that on most days, like, the sleep is not ranked very high for me, just saying. But it does give you, how many meditations you've completed. You can keep your favorites. So there are some that I listen to again and again because I like them and they make me happy. So just there, I was just adding a couple extra things. And there's also some quotes and humor things in there too. So I do appreciate that as well, being a big fan of some quotes. So I apologize. Oh yeah, Joe.
I had super spotty Wi-Fi, so I really apologize, but I wasn't sure if you had mentioned, and we have Karen who has more of the hard science behind it, but iRest was part of a lot of sleep studies. And so 20 minutes of a full practice of iRest does equate to 2 hours of sleep. So there is that dropping into those areas of the body where the body can do a deeper relaxation. And you two are both really young, but as an older woman, the wear and tear that stress can cause on the body is, I think all three of the older three women have experienced it firsthand. Hey, so y'all, you have to take care of yourselves.
Thank you. I'm not really that young. I appreciate that, but yeah, I'm up there.
I appreciate that too, for sure.
Maybe it's all that California sun.
Happy birthday to you, Rachelle.
Yeah, my mood just went off the meter. Like, it just went off.
We're 11s. We're 100s here. Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot just because I would love to be able to get better sleep. That is something that I really need. And if you watch any of our shows, it happens all the time. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I used to write it down, but then I think, no, I'm going to remember this time. But I don't remember. It just, I circle back. But that is really important. I think improved sleep alone would make us all just more efficient with what we do and how we relate to one another, especially our students. And I love what you guys have created. It's just amazing. And I will say this again, but the fact that you have different backgrounds and you came together to create something so wonderful for educators that goes back into students. And are they able to use this app as well?
Absolutely. We have meditations in the app for students, and we can expand that and plan to do that. But we also we know that there's so much out there for even the ones that are there. Honestly, the truth is the students could use the ones that the teachers are using. And we've had teachers say, well, I used that Breathe Now. I just played it for my class. So it's absolutely applicable to, we've worked everywhere from pre-K all the way up to actually preschool, all the way up to college students who are becoming teachers and teacher candidacy programs. So it's,
that's wonderful.
Yeah. But if you want to play a game, joy is good.
Okay.
I should say, the other thing I should add, we do Instagram, but we also have some really great blogs that teachers have written on our website. And so that would be another thing that I think if you were looking at compassion fatigue or burnout, and that those articles were written, and we're always interested in sharing the tools that are coming from the teachers themselves. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I love it. Thank you for that. Okay, well, I pulled up a few questions for this game, this or that. Sorry, and I like what Rachelle just put up there, and I just totally took it out. I'm so sorry.
Okay, all right.
There's like a million this or that questions, but I picked questions that are kind of related to work. Since we're all, we're working. So you can actually play this with your students as well. There are this and that questions for students or any kind of atmosphere that you're in. And Rachelle, I can't see you guys anymore. So if anybody comments and plays along with us live, definitely share those comments. But all right, here we go. And when we play this or that, it's simple. I just give you two choices and you tell us what you would prefer, this or that. And my first question is, would you rather start work late or leave work early?
Early.
Early.
Late.
Early.
I would also rather start work late. I don't know who said that, but I'm with you. Okay. Okay, I think this says a lot about somebody, and I'm not gonna put any judgment in this. Y'all can put judgment in this, but I refuse. But are you messy desk or clean desk?
Ooh.
I'll let you be the judge of that one.
Yeah, what Rachelle just said.
I'm messy.
Okay.
Same here.
I mean, it looks messy, but I honestly know where everything is.
I don't want to be as messy as I am.
Yeah.
That's what we all say, Rachelle. That's what we all say. I'm also there. Yes. Okay. This is good for educators, especially emails or conversations.
Depends.
If it's a sensitive content, I'd much rather have conversation. If it's just brief and informational, can I answer both? And I'd rather have an email.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on equanimity. So I'm supposed to be having this, like, I have a lot of personal work here. So I think I'd have to say always a conversation.
I agree. Conversation.
Yeah. I do like conversations.
I like conversations too. And it's hard to find time for conversations, but my emails, everything gets lost in my mailbox is chaotic as my desk, to be truthful. So, yeah. Ooh. Here, okay. This is kind of a hard one. I mean, if you think about it, physical work or mental work?
That is a hard one.
I'll take mental work because I got that whole shoulder thing. So, especially after getting 70 points in the basketball and playing skee ball. So,
oh my.
I got my workout this weekend.
Oh man, I want to combine them because I just was gardening and I was like, will these plants make it here? And so then I'm putting my physical with my mental. I really like to try to blend them. I find my mental works better if I do a few push-ups and then I do my mental. I find it's that mind-body connection. I think they have to be. When I sit all day, I'm just that's that mind body thing. I think this is a tough this or that. I have to think they have to be both personally.
All right.
I would say both also. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm working to pick one or the other, but a long run with a podcast on neuroscience, happy.
We're difficult. Like
contestants.
We wouldn't be able to be on the show. They'd probably kick us off.
We would have already gotten gonged or whatever.
We're too mindful. We're too mindful.
Gong show, like gong. Yeah,
gong. We're all about the gray.
I think you just gave me an idea for Mel and I for like later we can have the gong show.
Oh, fantastic! Let me know when it's on. I can't wait to see it.
That would be so brutal.
I like it.
I know.
Brutal.
I would have to be the gonger. Rachelle would not do it. She would be like, I can't do this to people, but I would like go overboard and just be like, you're gone, you know. So yes.
Oh my.
All right, we'll do two more. And I like it that you're living in the gray because I think sometimes as educators we get lost that we have to follow rules all the time, but really a lot of us don't fit in A or B. There's got to be all of the above. So I love it. And I want to hear more. Okay, would you rather be book smarts or street smarts?
These are hard. Can I pick both on this one? Can I go gray on this one?
It's your show, lady. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm reading all the books that are about being on the street. So I think that we better, I think the practical living and the stories. Rachelle, your books are amazing. And then I loved yours, Mel, on the I'm Sorry. And I just, I love that it's in Spanish. But I think that those stories, I mean, without the stories, that's that's our daily life. So the book Smart, if we get too erudite, we kind of lose connection. So I love the connection. So I even have to be gray again, both.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I know, because I'm reading books about being street smart, or, you know, street, if you call that, on strategy, on those kind of things, which are more applied. So.
And I think sometimes we get like, we honor one more than the other, but really, and like we're saying right now, like they both go together so well, and they both, and there are things about people that have, like, I am probably more of a book smart person, and I'd like to be more street smart. Like, I feel like, you know, I would like to go, I love people that are great in both.
And I think as educators, you guys, it's so critical, right? Because if we're not teaching that social and emotional deeper sense of self, and we're telling them, well, you know what, I really want you to read this great piece of literature and, you know, and find yourself in it. Well, maybe somebody can't, and that's okay. And that's that street smart to me. It's like being okay with who you are and not trying to maybe know every single thing from mythology.
Right.
Yes.
What about you, Dr. Karen?
Well, you know, I think book smart is really important, but basically what really matters is the human connection. And that's the street part of it, the street smart part for me. So I would have to go with both as well.
Yep.
That's
I like it.
Beautiful. Yeah, that is okay. One more. I said two more. Let's one more. Okay. Pep talk or motivational quote. I think that fits us.
Motivation.
You know me, I'm quotes. Like,
oh, yeah. I bought your quotes book.
I love quotes.
Yeah.
Too.
Personally.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to say quotes.
Oh.
Yeah. Y'all are into the bite-sized. So.
Yeah, but when you say motivational speaker, I just think of the old Saturday Night Live skit with Chris Farley. that pops into my mind. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
But the quotes give people a chance to think about, like, in their own way and apply it. I think that's what always resonates so well with me when it comes to quotes. So, yeah.
Karen, you're quiet.
Well,
Okay, definitely the quotes. Yeah.
All right.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that anybody watching, whether it's live right now or the replay, that you've got enough, like you can find the app on your phone and just clue into this. Do you guys have any last things you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Android or Apple, either one.
And be well. Karen, whenever she hangs up the phone with me, she always says, be well. And we always say too, thank you so much for teaching.
Yes, thank you for teaching.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
Right.
And we will see you on Friday at 5 o'clock. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.